And still in the nation's capital, the Department of State Services has confirmed that the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, is in his custody. Mr. Malami was rearrested after his release from the Kuje Correction Center, Abuja. His rearrest is linked to fresh allegations of terrorism financing and the discovery of arms and ammunition in his Kebbi mansion. The former AGF, his wife and son were granted 500 million naira bail each on 7th of January by Justice Emeka Nwete of the Federal High Court, Abuja. The family was arraigned by the EFCC on a 16-count charge of money laundering involving about 8.7 billion naira. Let's bring in anti-corruption crusader and chairman, Human and Environmental Development Aid Agenda, Larry Suraj. Mr. Suraj, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the news this hour. Mr. Malami was rearrested shortly after being granted bail. From a human rights and rule of law perspective, is this legally justified if fresh evidence exists, or does it raise concerns about abuse of state power?
Thank you very much, Nifemi, and thank you. Good evening, viewers. No, I think that is where the point of the confusion is likely to arise from. Malami was not rearrested. So using the word rearrest would connote that he was arrested again after he was granted bail. So he was originally arrested by EFCC and also prosecuted and charged to court, arraigned by EFCC. He's been granted bail. So as far as the initial arrest was concerned, the bail application and also the approval by the judge, with the perfection of that process and all the necessary documents, the arrest of EFCC ended. In the course of the investigation of EFCC with the execution of a search warrant that was granted by the judge to search the properties connected with Mr. Abubakar Malami, the former Attorney General, which was supposed to be the chief law officer of the country, resulted in the discovery, alleged discovery of arms and ammunition in his house. This is exclusive within the purview of the Department of State Security, the Security Service, to investigate. And the cause of that investigation with DSS, leading to the arrest that is just been described, is the arrest of Malami by DSS, and we need to actually put it appropriately, and not the arrest. So it is not being rearrested by EFCC, which would have mean or giving meaning to the rearrest, but this is an arrest by the DSS in the course of investigating a different total crime that is not within the power of even EFCC. Well, EFCC has the power to enforce some of the other laws, but there's already a designated institution and law enforcement agency that is saddled with the responsibility of doing that, and that is DSS. So DSS has the right under the law to actually also invite him or arrest him for the purpose of investigating, and also for him to volunteer statement and provide insights to the course of the investigation.
I understand your point. DSS, EFCC, they are both law enforcement agents. And as far as many Nigerians are concerned, he has been arrested again. But let's talk about that initial arrest. Following that one, the former AGF did ask the EFCC chairman to step aside. And his allegation was bias. He was alleging bias due to his past role in the Malami panel. In law and ethics, how strong is this recusal argument, and who really has the final authority to decide
it? Well, I mean, he wants to be the accuser and then also be the prosecutor and the judge in that matter. Unfortunately, Malami was the one who accused, then as the Attorney General, who accused the EFCC chairman, not even the current chairman of the EFCC. The current chairman of the EFCC was not even subjected to any form of interrogation during that process. He was the chairman of the EFCC at that time, Ibrahim Magu, that was accused of all manners of things. And Malami came to the world publicly, declared before the live television interview, and promised that he was going to appear before the Salami panel to defend all the allegations leveled against Bagu and the EFCC at that time. At the point when he was invited by the Salami panel, in a very macabre dance, Malami refused to actually appear to go and defend those allegations. And until that panel went down, and we never saw the report anyway, and concluded whatever he calls this sitting without any indictment issued. Malami actually never appeared before the panel to defend any of those allegations. It was obvious the only purpose of that panel at that time, the sole objective was to have Ibrahim Magu removed as the EFCC because of the running battle that Ibrahim Magu had with Malami. And we're seeing up until now, there's not been any allegation anywhere or even charges filed against Ibrahim Magu more than 4 years, 5 years down the line. Yep. And this is Malami here now having to answer to many of the corrupt practices and dealings and money laundering that is being accused of by the EFCC now.
Absolutely.
So we know who actually is supposed to be answering to what. And there's no justification for what the allegation is making against the current
with the EFCC insisting this case is not politically motivated. I'm wondering what you think anti-corruption agencies would have to do differently to earn public trust and prove that justice, not politics, is driving prosecutions like this, because even the EFCC chairman is actively convincing Nigerians that this is not an attack on figures, political figures in the opposition.
No, it is not the business of EFCC. I think it's for us, citizens and the media, to understand what we're doing. I mean, the first question is, what is politics in prosecuting corruption? So if we have 100 corrupt public officers and we're having 70 or 30 or 50 being charged, I mean, why should we be bothered because we're having just those few numbers?
Nigerians are bothered, Mr. Suraj, because if the allegation is that those in the opposition are prosecuted, it means that all you need to, remain safe as a corrupt person is to be in the ruling party.
No, look, especially is important, especially for the media, and that is why we're supposed to set the agenda. Malami was not in the opposition until when he was being invited by EFCC, is when he dumped and purportedly moved to ADC, a new formation, which is not even up to 1 year. So what is the political difference with Malami and APC? Malami, the only party that produced Malami anywhere, anytime, has been APC. Emeka Ngige is still in APC. Adi Sirika is still in APC. So what is the political difference and opposition? But we don't have to allow and assess them to distract from the cause. Right. The most important thing is go and answer. I mean, I don't owe any brief for any politician, and that you can check with my profile. I mean, but the most important thing is we don't allow politicians to distract us from the substance. Is Malami guilty or not? The question is, it needs to go and answer and prove that in court.
I hear you clearly.
Is number one. Was Malami an opposition person? The answer is no. So because people are invited, the moment they get invited by EFCC, they cry political persecution, they run to opposition party, and we also put it to them and say, oh, it is an attack on opposition.
Mr. Suraj,
this is not an attack on opposition.
We have completely run out of time. It's a developing story. We'll definitely get back to this in the coming days. Anti-Corruption Crusader, Chairman, Human and Environmental Development Agenda, Larry Suraj, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.